We have a busy weekend at the movies this weekend. We got Wuthering Heights, a new romance film for you couples to go out on Valentine's Day. We got Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, a new Gore Verbinski action movie about anti-AI that I've heard is absolutely insane and I cannot wait to go check out. We've got a new film with Joe Keery, Steven Stranger Things, and Liam Neeson called Cold Storage. It is a stacked weekend in February for releases. Oh, and we have Crime 101, a brand new action heist movie starring Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, and Barry Keoghan. Here is my review, because I saw it a few days early. Before I dive into my review, if you would subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What are your opinions on Crime 101 if you have seen it? If you have not, are you excited for it? Me heading into the movie, I wouldn't say I was super ecstatic for it. I saw some TV spots that said, with Chris Hemsworth saying that the movie focused on stunt work, which sounded interesting to me. And some early reactions, I was like, this sounds surprisingly good. And then today, obviously after I saw the movie, it got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes after 24 reviews. It went down to 88%, but that's still really high for a movie like this. So a lot of people are loving it. Did I love it? No. Did I think it was good? Absolutely. But do I think it is one of the best heist crime thrillers I've ever seen? No. It's got plenty of issues, but it's also got plenty of positives. This cast is electric, man. It is an amazing cast. The script itself doesn't really allow for us to get much character work, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But, I mean, obviously you can't deny that Chris Hemsworth is a lot of fun. He's charismatic as always. Mark Ruffalo, obviously it's Mark Ruffalo. I really like what he's doing with his career post-MCU. Halle Berry. She's Halle Berry. She's good in the movie. But Barry Keoghan is my surprise in the film. I'm not a big fan of his, but he is really good in here, playing a sporadic, insane robber that is just absolutely crazy, and you never know exactly what he is going to do. He had screen presence, and he was a lot of fun. But just those four alone are great. Everybody else in the movie is also really good. It's an ecstatic cast. It's really fun. The movie is much slower than I fully expected it to be, but we do have a few action sequences in there. There's one chase, the one that you have seen in the trailer, that is really, really good. Like, once you get to that chase scene in the middle of the movie, it, like, cranks up from, like, a 6 to 100 real quick. And it's like, this is a lot of fun. It's intense, edge-of-your-seat stuff. And then the final 30 minutes are incredibly intense. This, like I said, this is a much slower movie than you expect. Again, we'll talk about that here in a minute. So it is pretty slow, and there's not a lot of action sequences in there. But once you get to the payoff in the final 30 minutes, it is intense, edge-of-your-seat stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is why I love this genre. And it does it very well. And it really, really works in the film. Makes the payoff of the slow burn film work. The movie is pretty funny, honestly. I was surprised by how much I laughed in this movie. It's not like MCU type humor where everybody has to say a joke all the time. But when there's a joke in the movie, it is really funny. And me and the two other people in my theater, because I saw this at a live stream Q&A event where they didn't do the live stream Q&A, because I don't know why, it kind of made me mad. But anyways, there's only 3 people there, which I was a little bit surprised to and makes me worry that this movie's not going to make a lot of money, especially releasing on the weekend with Wuthering Heights, Valentine's Day weekend, where everybody's going to go see that movie. Not me! I'm not going to go see that movie. I don't think I can find a single dry seat in that theater. You got the females over Jacob Elordi, and you got the males over also probably Jacob Elordi. Anyways, it's funny, and everybody in the theater was laughing at the movie. That really works as well. And on a technical level, it's great. I mean, the movie is shot great. It's sleek. There are certain scenes in the film that, like, shots that made me go, like, that's really cool. And so, in the end of the video, when I recommend my final score, it's kind of hard to say don't check it out in the theater, because there are sequences that seeing in the theater, I'm like, that's really cool. The score also, it has that intensity, the kind of ticking clock type score that adds to the intensity of the film that I think really works. So on a technical level, it's really good. The performances are really good. There's some good action sequences in there. If you are a fan of crime thrillers like this movie, you're going to walk into this movie and you're going to be like, that was a really good one. I do think there's some pretty big negatives with the film, however, so let's dive into the stuff I wasn't so big of a fan of. First off, the script doesn't really give a lot for character development to allow our characters to fully on develop within the film. I watched the movie and I'm like, okay, we're kind of getting alluded to the past of Chris Hemsworth and everybody, their characters, but I didn't really connect with the characters. I'm like, they didn't do a really good job at that. I was like, I like these characters because they are played by actors I do like, but like overall their characters, do I really know much about them? And no, not really. Which is a little bit disappointing when you think the movie's 2.5 hours long. And it's such a slow burn, and that's a big negative for me. You could have shaved an hour off of this film and kept it the exact same. Watching this movie, I'm thinking, you know, I'm enjoying it. It's a good movie, but like, do we really need to see the sequence? Make it a brisk 90 minutes. Even at 2 hours would be much brisker and faster paced than this. And instead, it's a slow burn, and none of those sequences are really utilized to fully flesh out our characters. And the ones that are just kind of there and not really expanded on throughout the entire movie. There's 3 scenes where Mark Ruffalo does yoga. 3 scenes where Mark Ruffalo does yoga. That's a thing that happens in the movie. And, like, you could have cut 2 of those scenes out. You could have even cut all 3 out, and it would have been much more effective. It's a long movie, and at times I was like, it's losing me. I'm not all that invested. What's going on? Luckily, the movie won me back later on in the film. Again, with the excellent chase sequence and then the static final 30 minutes. But, like, some scenes were a chore. Like, why are we taking so long on this particular plot point? And I'm like, okay. All right. It's kind of dragging on a little bit. And the runtime is really, really long. I also wasn't really a big fan of the way the movie ended. I look at movies like Roofman last year where it's a slow burn that's so effective. And then when we get to the finale, it's like, okay. Yeah, it didn't end on a happy note, but it also ended in a satisfying way. I want more movies to do stuff like that. Not spoiling the movie, of course, but it ends on kind of a way that's like, oh, everything's happy, everything turned out okay. And I'm like, you know, sometimes it's okay in movies to feel the stakes more when the movie does not end out on a happy ending. And unfortunately it did. And I watched the movie, I'm like, okay. Yeah, I kind of left a little bit unsatisfied with the way the film exactly ended. Not saying that that diminishes the rest of the movie with what the final 5 minutes do, but I'm like, okay. All right, not really big fan of that aspect. So overall, it's a good throwback action thriller. I really enjoyed it, but there are some big issues that held it back from being like one of the greatest of this day and age, which is why I have to come out here and say that you see the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, you might walk into this movie and think, oh, it's going to be one of the best heist thrillers you've seen in a long time. I'm here to tell you, no, it's a good heist thriller, but it's got issues. I think you'd enjoy it. I don't think you'll absolutely love it. Before I give you my final score, if you would subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What are your opinions on Crime 101 if you saw it early? If you haven't seen the movie, are you excited for it this weekend? What's your most anticipated movie releasing this weekend? And with that said, Crime 101 is a sleek action thriller with great cinematography, a great score, and a great cast, and some really good action sequences in there. But it's 2.5 hours long. The movie drags. There's not really a lot of character development. And so on some technical aspects, the movie doesn't really work in that way. But on other aspects, the movie is a good throwback action thriller. I overall enjoyed it. But there is some issues. So with Crime 101, I'm going to have to give the film a B. And I think it is a movie that you can check out when it hits streaming, which I think it'll be streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Again, there are some sequences that I saw on the big screen. I'm like, yeah, that was worth it. But at the same time, with so many other things releasing this weekend, you can definitely check this one out at home and save some money. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Stay tuned for the Cold Storage review, the Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die review, and then not the Wuthering Heights review, because you can't catch me dead in that theater. No, you cannot. I don't want to sit with a bunch of gooners and couples. That doesn't sound like my ideal weekend plans. But stay tuned, and with that said, subscribe.